Hello and welcome back to the Think Rugby podcast. I am full of joy and upbeat sunshine and rainbows after the weekend, watching Scotland bottle yet another Six Nations. I was going to say Grand Slam, but no, they were never going to be up for that. The writing's on the walls, Av. I don't know about you. I hope you had a good enough weekend. Yeah, the writing's on the wall for me.
The only thing we're going to be winning is a wooden spoon by the looks of it. Or the Triple Crown. Triple Crown's still up for grabs. You've got to remember that. If you don't laugh, you cry. It's what a shocking performance in terms of final execution, decision making. In my opinion, leadership lacked severely. And yeah, it was just a load of drivel over in Rome at the weekend for Scotland. Where should we start? Do we start with the current issues at hand? Do we start with where we think went wrong? Do we start with how good Italy were as well at certain points in the game? I don't think they were spectacular, but they were definitely up for it. I mean, the stats don't lie. They had about 3 or 4 times as many tackles as Scotland did. So obviously defended extremely well with a lot of heart and determination, but also just taking their points when the opportunities arose. Like, some of those players are unreal, stepped up to an absolute T, and the Scotland players, like we alluded to, we've spoken of Karma and other folk in other chats have alluded to, they just did not step up, and they were absolutely hounded in the comments of some posts online. Deservingly so to an extent, yes, and no at the same time, because at the end of the day, you can't have off days, and not everybody was awful. I think there were some semi-decent players, but definitely a shell of what we could have been, especially against Italy in the first game of the Six Nations, where it's essential to get off to a good start. We came away with 1 point out of potential 5. 3 points, 18 points to 15 full-time score, 3 points difference. I said, I'll say it just now, there was at least 2 or 3 instances throughout the game, especially in the first half, where Scotland could have taken the points in front of the posts. And I know, if you look at Glasgow, the way Glasgow like to play, Glasgow don't take a lot of points. They like to back themselves at the driving maul, in open playing free-flowing rugby. But the conditions were just absolutely terrible, and you always play conditions. It wasn't windy, just very, very rainy. And there's a lot of kickable penalties out there for Scotland. Even if they didn't score 1 or 2 of them, still could have got a couple at certain points in the game. And ultimately, they lost the game by 3 points. I'm going to blame a little bit of leadership here. I think leadership, the players never stood up when they were called upon. A lot of leaders or senior players. It was very slow, lethargic, just going through the motions. Obviously, Scotland did have a game plan in mind, and I think they executed it to a certain degree, but when it came to that red ball entry in the kind of clinical, i.e. the lineouts, they just weren't clinical. Same with the scrums, they got absolutely done over in the scrums as well. I'll let you interject just now, because before I kind of explode. I'm a little bit annoyed about the whole situation. However, what I will say is I think Italy did play the better rugby and also played the smarter rugby, and also they just wanted it more. Just like I say, given the stats, they just wanted it more. The 37 tackles to Scotland's 35 or something.
To continue on with what you were saying, I think that's the worst performance I've ever seen a Scotland team under Townsend that wasn't against Ireland. For as bad as Scotland were, Italy were the opposite. They were sublime. Before the game, I watched all of the pre-match build-up. They had the plastic cover to protect the grass on the pitch. It was a lot of rain before the game, never mind during the game when the heavens opened. After about, it was maybe the 15-minute mark, the heavens properly opened, but by that point, Italy were 12-0 up. And as it was pointed out, a 12-0 lead in the weather that followed is a bit like a 24-0 lead. And as you say, Scotland, they just tried chasing it and chasing it. Unforeseen circumstances, though, I don't know what it was, but oh my God, Grant Gilchrist, Ewan Ashman, 2 boys who, yes, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fans of. They had solid autumns, but yeah, they were utter shite at the weekend. Ashman in particular, utter shite.
I'm going to.
But before you come back in, Zav, the point I'm going to make was I think there was 6 lineouts that Ashman had, and when Gilchrist was first receiver, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but all 4 of them were terrible. And the ones where it wasn't Gilchrist actually like catching the bar, Cummins anyway had won, as did I think Fagerson. They got a hand to the ball, but nothing more. The throwing was off. Scotland were chasing the game because they knew, shit, it's raining, it's wet, we really need to try and close the gap here. The lineouts didn't work because the forwards were having an off day. That didn't set a platform for the backs. Same in the scrum, and yes, I will disagree with you here. Scotland had plenty of chances to, rather than kick for the corner, they could also have kicked for points. Finn Russell did that, I think, when it was the most sensible option. I'm not sure about the first penalty when they kicked the corner, but certainly the second and the third one, I think they were right to kick for the line out and not.
Okay, thanks for your opinion. I guess it is very subjective. That's the word I'm going to call, subjective. The point you make about the line outs, I guess in a way you've been proven right about Gilchrist and Ashman. However, in terms of Ashman with his throwing, and you noticed he went up to Gilchrist during the game, I noticed it, and he was like, he said something, I was almost like, what the fuck are you making me do? That's what it looked like, because he was getting made to throw to the very back of the lineup of good 50 metres, quite a lot. Intervention being like that, I'm sorry, but if you're holding a slippy ball and you're asked to throw it 15 metres dead straight into somebody's hands, that's quite tricky to do, even no matter what, like, how professional you are and how skilled you are. So I think Gilchrist's calls were absolute. The execution from Ashman wasn't there, but Gilchrist, oh my goodness, why is he calling that? I thought it was just piss poor. And again, just try to simplify things. Italy never struggled with the line out. They were sublime, absolutely sublime in the line out. The same in the scrum. So weather-wise, they adapted the conditions and played the conditions. Yeah, but in terms of the post, I guess we can either agree to disagree or just against. Respect each other's opinions. It could have, would have, was whatever. End of the day, we never took the chances. That was that.
May I quickly interject?
Yeah, go for it.
All I'm going to say just now is, right, I'm giving Ashman a bit of a hard time, the same with Gilchrist. With the line outs, it's very much the hooker and usually the second row calling what happens. I'm by no means saying the line outs were utter shit, because at Ashman, two to tango, it's both of their faults. And as I say, with Gilchrist, usually when it was him catching, there was fuck all happening. So that's my, just to make it clear.
Do you want to know what the funniest thing about it is? When George Turner was at Turner Ashman got yellow carded, but what off the park anyway, and Mark Fagerson took through the line out, and it was probably the best line out of the whole match for Scotland.
Yeah,
that's absolutely typical. For fuck's sake, honestly, like, here we're missing a trick here. Just get Mark Fagerson on line out. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, Italy deserved to win. It leaves Italy in a very strong position, and they now head to Ireland. They head to Aviva Stadium. Ireland head to Rome. I guess they head to Ireland. Anyway, they're playing each other.
Yeah, they go to Dublin.
They go to Dublin, yeah, perfect. So that's going to be a test for them, but they'll be so up for it, especially given the amount of setbacks Ireland's had in terms of their squad. Lack of I wouldn't say lack of quality players, but lack of experienced players that they're missing. Like I say, the whole back three, they're missing Keenan, Hansen, Lowe, Bundy-Aki. Ringrose was an absolute shadow against France. Prendergast is still finding his feet, so do the pick Crowley, Ireland. Like, there's a lot of players missing, pardon me, in that back row department. Even the front row, Portman and Furlong were both missing, so there was a lot of quality players missing. But I think it's going to be a very good game. Italy heading to Ireland, especially after Ireland getting a little bit dismantled by the French. Okay, they had that little comeback towards in the second half, but it was too little too late, and the French almost went up a gear in the first half, then dropped a couple of gears in the second half, and then the last 10 minutes just picked it back up again, just to make sure to kind of see Ireland off. Yeah, I don't think Ireland are going to pose a threat to like Scotland, Italy, Wales, but I think in terms of France and England, I think they're going to really struggle. So it could be really interesting. I think it'll be a pretty evenly matched game for Italy, going over to Dublin and playing Ireland this coming Saturday. In terms of France playing Wales this weekend, I mean, France just absolutely blew Ireland out of the park, as I mentioned. I think they're going to absolutely dismantle Wales. Yeah, just like England dismantled Wales just a couple of days ago, just a weekend past. I don't think there's going to be much of a contest there. I think it'll be much and such the same, which is a shame. It's at the Principality as well. I've heard already told me that they're struggling to sell out the Principality, which is an absolute shock. Being Six Nations.
Sorry, you're shocked about that?
Yeah, because every time I've been in Principality, it's been completely sold out. This has been like when Wales have still been in brackets shit. They were still like not great. It was actually a very close game that day as it happened, but everybody thought Scotland was going to run them over, and it was still an absolute sellout of a game. I think Wales are slowly deteriorating. The Welsh fans are slowly kind of losing their appeal to go and watching them get absolutely humped for what is to be a 20th or 21st, 22nd time in a row, get beat in the Six Nations. Yeah, it's not looking good, bruv, for Wales. In terms of Scotland and England, I want to kind of focus on this one. Yeah, mainly, I think you do as well. But our best interest this weekend being Calcutta Cup week, and I think you've got England starting 15. Is that right, or did I pick that up wrong?
Yeah, I've got a Scottish 15. Like, literally, as a reaction, I don't know what Gregor Townsend is going to do, because, as I say, the writing's on the wall, and we have been calling for his head for the last couple of years, and kind of, it's taken since the autumn for mainstream pundits to now kind of see that it's a bit like DT on AFTV. It's like, welcome to what I've been saying for a long time, and I get fucking moaned at for voicing my opinion.
Yeah, that's quite funny. No, it's true. Brilliant, brilliant. No, you're right enough. But I've been saying it for long enough. Even like Sir John Barclay, like they couldn't really defend in terms of that much in the post match kind of analysis and that. And even Townsend's post match interview just was so flat, and you knew he just looked a defeated man. But back to Scotland versus England, they've got a chance to make amends. Do I think they're going to turn up as Scotland? That is, I don't know if they'll. I think they'll play better. Inevitably, they've got to play better. But I don't think they'll defeat this mighty England team. This England team's really, really solid and strong. And they didn't even hit, I don't even think they hit third gear against Wales, to be honest. I think they were just going through the motions against Wales, knowing it was an easy gig. And they've got to go up to come to Scotland with arguably an even stronger squad. You never know what might happen, even though somebody's so strong. And yeah, I think they'll probably run a bit quite riot. But we can predict Scotland's lineup. I'll let you predict it and I'll see if I disagree or agree or disagree. But Scotland are going to have to do something, and they're going to have to make some drastic changes, in my opinion.
Yeah, well,
So
I have made some changes from what Gregor Townsend made at the weekend. So we'll start with front row. I've went with, although they got fucking bullied, the props of Schumann and Fagerson, and I went with George Turner as the hooker.
I don't disagree, to be honest. There's not much choice. In an ideal world, you'd be like, you are not good enough, you're out. But there's not much choice for that. So yeah, I can't really say anything. I'm happy with that. I'd like to see Hiddleston maybe get on the bench, but other than that, yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter was, I mean, we are going over old ground again, but Ashman should have been hooked at half time. He had 2 lineouts in the second half that but he fucked up a thirding, because when Turner went and got sin-binned, this is annoying me. Second row, I've went Scott Cummins has retained his place because he had a bit of aggression, and Gregor Brown, like the subs made the difference and made it like a closer result for Scotland because they were outplayed.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd agree with you.
Moving on to the back row, who Rory Darge and Jack Dempsey, they arguably had pass marks at the weekend, so I've went with them two to retain their place, and a bit of a left field choice. It's not going to happen, but between what happened in the line out and a lack of control at the breakdown with Italy being so good, I've went with Jimmy Ritchie, bit of a left field choice at 6.
I can get behind that. I think they'll probably just stay with the same back row. Dempsey had a pretty good game, pretty solid. Got the try, evading tackles. He was quite clever with his footwork because he knew the Italians would play rush up and be quite flat-footed, so he was very good with his footwork to beat defenders. So he beat quite a lot of defenders, made quite good yards. Darge was good over the ball, a couple of turnovers, walked away, did his usual stuff. And yeah, Fagerson was quite quiet for me. I like how you mentioned Richie coming into a game like the Calcutta Cup where maybe Jacqueline is going to be there, the turnover is going to be a massive thing. So if you've got 2 specialists in Darge and you've got Richie in the park, then that could only be a good thing. It's happened before and it's worked a treat with 2 specialist Jackals in the park.
Half-back pairing, I went with my guy George Horn and Finn Russell. I thought George Horn, he came on and the boys looked pretty defeated. George Horn comes on, snipes a try, and he's fucking like pushing Abdi in the chest, getting everybody psyched up, and he's got an infectious personality, especially when he's playing like he was at the weekend. As I've said to you before, George Horn is the type of player to unlock games. Horn did what his description was at the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll struggle to see Horn starting for Scotland, and I think for me that's just Townsend's opinion and his preference. However, I don't know why you wouldn't just give it a go, especially when you've got not a lot to lose, to be honest. Horn was electrified when he came on against Italy. Yeah, honestly, you've been saying it for long enough. The difference between Horn and White is Horn more or less guarantees to start every time he's available for his club and plays a good length of time for his club before like either Dobie or Ben Ashford comes on and plays 9 instead. In White, it's very 50-50 whether he actually plays because you've got Serrano at Toulon. So in terms of getting valuable game time at the top level, Ben White's getting far less game time. Okay, training's good, but you can't substitute any sort of training for games, no matter what level you're at. And for me, I think Vaughan's so much more in form and more in tune with it all. As shown, Ben White wasn't bad on Saturday. His kicking height and length were pretty solid, but he's not the kind of person. He's not a Horn that Ben White wouldn't have scored that try that Horn scored. Let's just put it like that.
It was very clear at the weekend in games like that. That game was won and lost with the forwards. The forwards build the platform for the backs to play it. Like, we'll move on to the centres, and like Hugh Jones and Sione Tuipulotu, they've retained their places for me because they were quiet, and it was the same with Ben White. He was quiet, but is it really their fault? No, because the forwards set the groundwork.
They set platform. Yeah, Tuipulotu was very, very quiet. He didn't have much of an impact in the game, and then Hugh Jones, just back from a big injury, or like not long back from a big injury. I'm surprised he played for as long as he did. Did he play the full game, or did he come off? Can't remember. But
I think he would have played the full game.
I think he maybe did, but I expect him to come off around the 50-minute mark, but he never. So they must be backing him. But Hugh Jones, I can't dispute the talent there in the centre partnership. But it's who knows? Who knows? I think they'll probably retain their spot in the back three. Now I think they'll have a few changes in the back three. I'm going to assume. And just tell me, Andy, we'll go on. What's the back three?
The back three I have went for this weekend against England is the exact same back three that played at the weekend there against Italy. I think that staying like Rob Kearney come out and question Gregor Townsend. Yes, rightfully question Gregor Townsend, don't get me wrong, but he was on about, Van der Merwe, he was playing a couple of weeks ago against Leinster and he looked pretty sharp. Scotland were shite at the weekend because they were chasing a game and their backs were against the wall. How the back three played, you were not going to get a better performance out of Van der Merwe, Kinghorn. And by the way, Kinghorn is not the best under the high ball, and the conditions at the weekend would not have suited him. Same with Van der Merwe, he would have been even worse, and we would have been even more exposed at the back.
Well, I think Rob Kearney got a lot nibble there. Yeah. I would have said maybe Kinghorn to take in, but at the same time, does it make sense? Probably not. I think you stick to your guns. Tom Jordan never had a spectacular game, but again, you've kind of said it all there. It's still going to be wet at Murrayfield, but I don't think it'll be as wet as that. I think it'll be a bit more. It'll be more confident being at home as well. I think more confidence will be there, and hopefully we're not chasing the game like we were against Italy. We just have to see what like. But I wouldn't mind Jamie Dobie maybe starting on the bench instead. But again, begs the question: who comes on instead? Do you start Darcy Graham now? That might happen and move Stein to 11. That could quite possibly be the possibility and the outcome that happens. I'm going to predict it now that does happen and Dobie goes to the bench. I just don't think international rugby is a hard thing to step up for. And Dobie's a great player, but maybe there was too much responsibility on him again. Quite a tough kind of game to start on the wing for his experience and age, but no disputing his talent. I love Jamie Dobie as a player.
No, I agree with you. And the thing that irritates me is you see these forwards. Don't get me wrong, there was one line out in the second half where Cummins and Gilchrist, they bombed down like fuck to the Italian breakdown. And it was maybe, that bit of passion or whatever. And you could see with Dobie, he was making a couple of mistakes and he was just trying too hard to correct them. And that's where I have a bit of sympathy for him because I've been there myself. Yeah. I've written in Jamie Dobie. I wouldn't be surprised if Darcy Graham gets recalled into the starting 15 this weekend.
I think so. I think it will happen. Which is a shame for Dobie, but at the end of the day, it's a performance. Like you say, it's a performance-based industry. So I think that will be the case at the end of the day. But anyway, moving on to predictions though. Let's start with I don't mind what order we do it in. If you know the chronological order of a kick-off, we can do it that way. But I know that Scotland play England at 2:10.
No, we're the quarter. We're the 20.
So who's first? Is it the France-Wales game? Doesn't matter. We'll do France-Wales first.
Great punditry! You've got it here, folks. You've got it all here.
We can head the off. Wales vs France. What are you thinking?
Yeah, just lock up your yows.
What was score? I mean, score prediction, mate.
Well, 50 to France.
Aye? Which boys us? Okay. I'll be generous and I'll go 45 to France.
You've just seen France completely destroy a weakened Ireland team. What are they going to do to Wales, who haven't won a game at home in like 3 years?
No, but it's just the principality we're talking about. Yeah, no, you're right. I think we 45 points to France, give or take. Okay, Ireland vs Italy.
Now that is an interesting one.
Very much so.
Negri was on Premier Sports and he made the point that, yeah, they did deserve the win against us, but he was very measured and said that quite often Italy have went over to the Viva and they have been spanked and they've had 30, 40, 50 points put on them. So they don't want to get ahead of themselves. That being said, I don't think they'll ever have a better opportunity to beat Ireland at the Aviva. Scrum time, again, obviously weather conditions again. If Farlong is fit, then you would obviously back Ireland just with the nuance, experience that he plays with. Don't know. I think Italy would be quietly confident for this game. I think Ireland by 3, but Italy will give them a scare.
I'm going to go Italy by 2.
Italy by 2?
Just to play a bit, just to go a bit of a devil's advocate. I honestly think it'll be an extremely close game. I back the Italians just now over the Irish, confidence-wise and also just form-wise. But you can't dispute Ireland at the Aviva. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough day. But I honestly, I hope that Italians do win. I've got a soft spot for Italy. Maybe just not last weekend, but this weekend I've got a very soft spot for them. So I'm hoping Italy by 2. On to the big one, the Calcutta Cup. What we're saying? What are you thinking, Andy?
Well, I was just going to say Ireland-Italy would probably be the game I'm most looking forward to this weekend. I'm not looking forward to this game.
Well, Chris, no, either am I. Are you going to be optimistic or pessimistic for this?
Realistic, I think. Yeah, I think if England are up for the Grand Slam, they'll probably beat us by about 3 points. Actually,
I was more thinking like 15 points, to be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be at least 7. It's not going to be tight.
I don't think so. I think England will be will clear it. It's nothing against Scotland boys a wee bit, but it's more because of how strong England are at the moment. I just don't think Scotland will manage to match it anywhere close to the level that England have been at lately. So that's my reason behind that. But and then the Calcutta Cup will be heading to England again. Unfortunately, everybody has their day. Sadly.
Exactly. And for those that are going to Murrayfield, and the Scotland fans going to Murrayfield, I hope you enjoy the anthems because they are good. It's a great experience. But I hope that you enjoy supporting the team because I don't think the team's going to come away with anything. They might get 2 losing bonus points, but I doubt it. And this is how optimistic we are, and we are probably the most optimistic Scotland fans in the country at the moment. There you go. There's the predictions there, guys. Leave a comment with your descriptions, how you think the last weekend went. Also, like I say, with descriptions, how you predictions, not descriptions, predictions, how you think it's going to go this weekend as well. Okay then. Well, thank you for your time, Andy. Thank you for listening, guys. Yeah, I think that's everything for today, unless you've got anything to add, Andy, towards the end. Just yeah.
You've heard it there. Just yeah. Quote of the day. Just yeah, guys. Okay, next one. We'll see you later on. Don't forget to subscribe, get involved, leave a like, share on to a mate who needs to see this, and get stuck in with the Six Nations 2026. And hopefully see some nice surprising results come this weekend. Okay, folks. See you in a bit.
Yeah.